All right, guys, so we're back. Between episodes, I went ahead and I ground out some more science, basically just doing the same thing I was doing. I went to the launch pads and I gathered the science from the launch pads with our standard rocket, the same one we've been using. It has served us well, but now it is time to move on from that for now. So here's what we're going to do next. Like I said, all of this area around here contains a metric crap ton of science. We just got to access it. And in order to do that, we've got to get to each of these places. And like I say, they're individual biomes within the Space Center. So let's take the science that we've used, and we're going to go ahead and use that up real quick. So we are going to go ahead and we wanted solar panels so that we could build our little rover. So we're going to take those, and that leaves us with 39. Now we could spend it pretty much. The only place we can spend it is right here. And that's going to give us the smaller fuel tank, and it's going to give us a thumper solid rocket booster, blah, blah, blah. It's really all we can buy for right now. I don't think any of this stuff is going to really help us out. We might as well go ahead and buy this. We're going to use this fuel tank, I think. Anyway, we will see, but we're going to go from there. So we're going to go ahead and snag that up. And that is going to be it. So that's going to leave us with 19.2, just under 20 science. So now we get to see just how much science is still remaining in this area. Now we've gotten probably most of the launch pad science because we've gone up and down so much there, and we've got the launch pad science of the other twos, but we have not gotten the airways because the runways because we didn't have aircraft. Now we're going to build not really an aircraft. We're going to build it in an aircraft hangar, but it's not going to be an aircraft. It's going to be our little rover, and this is going to be our first rover. It is by no means going to be pretty. It is going to be functional. It is going to get us what we need, and it is going to be ugly. I'm going to tell you that right now. So first thing we need a capsule. Now we could take the command capsule, what have you, but let's be a little sexy. Let's take the plane capsule. All right, and then we're going to take our Science Junior, and we're going to tack our Science Junior on here. I think before we tack it on there, we're going to rotate it right there, so that it is facing to the side, so that when we open this up, we can see the little prettiness. All right. Behind that, we are going to put our little cargo service bay. And let's make sure the doors are going to open the way we want them to open. And they do. And we're going to put a second one of these. All right. So then we're going to get out here to storage. Open these doors up. And we're going to take a cargo storage unit that we've been using to save our science, right? And we're going to put one there. And we're going to put one there. That's going to give us a way to save our science, so that we don't have to keep bouncing back and forth. So we can go ahead and close those up. Then we're going to need, I think we use the little fuel tank here. Whack it on the end. Now, if we right click on this, you can see it's got fuel in it. It's got oxidizer in it. We don't need them. So we're going to get rid of the weight. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that. That's less blow up stuff, right? We don't need them because we're going to run off electricity. So then we're going to go to ground, and in the front we're going to put steerable landing gear so that we can kind of go where we need to go. We're going to get down here and we're going to change this on symmetry And we're going to double it up so that it's side by side. And we're going to put ourselves a couple of wheels on here. Now, this is not going to be the most stable configuration. It's got a very narrow wheelbase, but it is going to work. And then we're going to go back here, and we're going to take the Rover wheels, because they are electric powered. We don't need an engine for those. Now, this thing is not going to be fast, but it is going to work. It is going to drive for us. And we're going to work on rotating these around so that they face the right way. We got to get them to where we want them to be. And let's see what that looks like. Is that, you know what? Let's move them down a little bit further. That's about as far down as we can get them. We're off the ground. That's what counts. We are off the ground. Okay, so now we have basically our Giddy Up Go mobile here. Now we got to be able to collect science. Now we've got our Science Junior, but we also want to get our goo stuff. And oh, wait a minute, that's not the right ones, is it? That is not the right ones. We don't want these ones. We want the experiment storage units. My bad. Get that back to there. We want one there. And one there. So now we have two of them. That's what we want. We want the experiment storage. We'd have been out there disappointed. All right. So we got that. Now let us put on a couple of goo canisters. So we can, you know what? Let's put them up a little further. Because we want, if we can find it, is it under utility? Yeah, it's under utility. We want this because we want to be able to get it in the right orientation here. Still trying to remember how to control these, so give me a moment to, that's not what we want. We don't want symmetry mirror. It's not that one. There it is. All right, so we want to put on a set here and a second set below it. So that we can get up and down and get in this puppy as we go across the ground. All right, now we're going to need to be able to power this sucker. We still got some science we got to get, but we're also going to need electric. So we're going to need some batteries, because we got to be able to make this thing go. So, put a couple of batteries on. You know what? Yeah, couple there. One there. One there. We're going to want to be able to get up and go with this thing. But we also need to give it some power. So let's give it one there. One there. and 1 there. That ought to be able to recharge itself, right? So we got, wow, those look like crap where they are. Put 1 there. Gotta, you know, a little style. Come on, guys, a little style. Right? There we go. Close enough, right? And then we're going to need a couple of them. And a couple of them. So now what do we got? We got our Science Junior. We got our goo canisters. We got our barometers. We got our thermometers. It looks to me like we've got everything we need. Now, again, like I say, this thing is not going to be anywhere near fast, but it is going to get us where we want to go. So we're going to close up the service bays, get everything on there, and we're going to tell this, we want to crew this, not with Jeb because he's a pilot. We want to crew this with Bob because Bob is a scientist. I don't think we can put more than 1 person in this, can we? Maximum crew, minimum crew is 1. I don't see how many crew. Maybe I'm missing it here. I don't know if we can put more than 1 crew in here or not. I don't think we can. Yep, can't put more than 1 crew in there. All right. But anyway, there it is. So now we have our little rover. And we're going to name our little rover POS 1. Because that's what it is. It's POS. Right? And we're going to save that. So now we got our little rover saved. If we blow it up, we can always get a new one. But I think we got enough to gather all the science from all the places local. Like I say, this thing is not going to travel fast. It's not going to travel far. And it's not going to be real stable. But it'll get us where we got to go. So we're going to start out on our runway here. We're not going to go to the island or the desert airfields yet. We're just going to go to our runway here. So let's launch her onto our runway. See what it looks like. See if it works. Right? So it's got a little bit of ground clearance. It's got enough. I mean, it'll go. Right? It ain't the greatest. But look, it'll roll. It's rolling. So we got our brakes if we need to put brakes on, and we got lights if we need to put lights on, but we didn't put any lights on it. It's just going to turn on the cabin lights. Kind of cute. You know, you got to admit, for an 11-year-old game, the views in this game are pretty darn nice. Right? All right, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to go right off of the runway here. So we're going to turn and power, and we don't want to turn too fast because it will roll over on us. And we don't want to go down this hill too fast because it will make us go boom, potentially. All right, so we're off the runway. Put on our brakes so we can stop. Takes a little bit to stop. We're going to go with some backwards thrust so that it'll stop eventually there. We got our brakes on. So now let's do some science stuff. Log our temperature. We already got from the shores, I think, so we're not going to get, curb and shores. We already got temperature from the shores, so we're not going to probably get temperature. We're probably not going to get pressure. We may not get goo. I think we've used up a lot of the shores. Okay, so we got 0.2 science, so that was, we had a little bit left to get. Good. We're going to conduct a material study. 0.7 or 7.5. That's good, and we'll take it. We're going to do a crew report. Got some science there. We are going to do an EVA, and we're going to get Bob to collect our data and restore our thing. And then we're going to do an EVA report, which we already got them on the shores, I guess. So we really can't get any more. Take the sample. We're going to get the sample. We're going to take that. And then we're going to let go. And we're going to come down here to our first little bay, open her up, and store our experiments. Right? And we're going to go get back on the bus. Oh. He gets a little confused sometimes, the drunk driving thing. We're trying to get him to go inside. Maybe we can get him to go this way. There we go. All right. And then we're going to take some more material science and keep that experiment. And EVA. And take our surface sample. And then we're going to get back in. And we're going to go home. And that should pretty much do us for Curb and Shores. All right, so we got pretty good science, 32. We started with what, 19? So that's not too bad. Let's see something here. If we go to archives, crew reports, we got all the crew reports to every place we've been, which would include Curb and Shores. EVA reports, we're all the way up on our EVA reports. Mystery Goo, the desert launch site, the desert, the grassland, we got Curb and Shores. There's two Curb and Shores. We got this one. This one is probably in the water. I think this one is in the water. We can do some Mystery Goo from the runway. We can do some more Mystery Goo from the launch site. So we still got the runway to do. Desert, grasslands, we got a little bit of surface sampling. We can do Curb and Shores we got. That's the water one from the runway. Material study, desert, grassland, Curb and Shores. Both locations of Curb and Shores, we can do some more material study. The runway, etc., etc. Temperature scan, we're all the way up on. Atmospheric scan, we're all the way up on. Okay, so there we go. Now, basically, it's a matter of rinse and repeat. This time, just to show you what I mean by this all being separate biomes. Now we can take from the runway. There's a few more that we can take from the runway, but we're going to take a trip. We're going to go over here to the Space Center. Let's get off the runway. Now, if we took from here, we'd get runway data. We go down this hill, and we are on Curb and Shores, right? And we still got a little bit to take from there. But now, if we head over here, and it's going to take us, a little bit to get there. And we can keep an eye on our electrical charge by clicking here. It'll tell us how much oxidizer, fuel, monopropellant, electrical charge, etc. that we have. And you can see that this is going to be going down a little bit because it is nighttime now. That's why all the lights are on. And like I say, this thing is not fast and it is not stable. But this will get us just about every bit of science we can get out of each location in one trip. Because I think you can do 3 times in each location for like the Science Junior and the goo. The temperature and the barometer, I think they're only 1 time each. But the other stuff, I think you can do 3 times each. So we climb up the hill. We put on the brakes. And we stop right here next to admin. Right? And we just go through the same process. So we got log our pressure. Log our temperature. Log our goo. We go around the other side, we do the same thing. Log our temperature. Log our pressure. Log our goo. So that gives us 2 of the 3 of each of those, right? And then we can do our materials. And we can do our crew report. And we can do an EVA. And from the EVA, we can do an EVA report. And we can do a surface sample. Right? And then we're going to take our data out of there. We're going to take our data out of here and restore that. And then we're going to let go. We're going to come down here to the side of the plane, open this up. Might as well open this one up because we're going to use it. Store our experiments. We'll grab these ones. Store what we can, right? And then we're going to do it all again. So we'll do our goo. I think we got to be on the plane to do it. Come on. Trying to grab the door. There we go. So now do our goo. Do our barometer. Do our temperature. Now I'm pretty sure that's all you can do for those ones. Conduct our material study. Do our surface sample. Head back over here. Store what we can there. Store what we can there. Collect our data. Restore this. Store our data. Conduct our materials research again. And I think that is all of the science we can do. So then we recover it. And let's see how much science we end up with. $67. So we get 7 for that, 2 for that, 9 for that, 1.5, 6. So we got we got a fair bit of science, right? So we can go over here and we can check and see what we got left. Okay. So crew report, we've got all the crew report from the administration that we can get. We got all the EVA we can get. We got all the mystery goo we can get. We could have taken one more surface sample. All right. We got all the material study, all the temperature scan, and all of the pressure scan. So we could have done one more surface sample than what we did. That's okay. We'll pick that up. But that's basically the deal. And each time you can go back and get a little bit, get a little bit, get a little bit, get a little bit. But with the vehicle that we've got, we have enough storage. We can get all of it, all in one trip for each location. So that is what I'm going to do. So that gives us admin. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more places that we can get, and maybe a little bit left on the launch pad and the runway. And then we've got the other 2 locations, the desert and the island. So there is a crap ton of science to be picked up here, plus anything that's left on these shores and anything that's left in the water. I'm not going to, you guys sit through all of that. I'm going to go through and do it. And when I'm done, I will be back and we can take a look at just how much science we've actually accumulated in the process, guys. So I will see you in my time, probably several hours. In your time, right about now. All right, guys, we are back. So we started out with 19.2, and now we're 397.2. So we gained 378, something like that, 380, 378. So I hit all of the buildings and got all of the science from all the buildings, farmed all the buildings, farmed the grassland around us, or the shore around us, farmed the water around us. I also went to all the alternate launch sites, the 3 alternate rocket sites, the 2 alternate rocket sites and the 2 alternate runways, and I farmed the science from both of those and from the grassland and the desert that's right around them. So there you go. It took me, I want to say, 2 hours to do it, give or take. I know my rover's slow. I could have made it faster, but it took me about 2 hours to do it. So if you just stuck around the Space Center and around those and farmed it all out, including the launches that we did, you're looking at what, 400, 500, 600 science, I guess, if we totaled it all up and saw what all of this was prior. That's not bad for a start. I mean, that gets you a fair ways down this tech tree. We've already got a good ways down it. Now these ones, you're starting to get into the 160s, the 300s, the 500s, ultimately up into the 1000s. But those you'll start to pick up as you go off planet and get farther and farther and farther away. The farther away something is, of course, the more science it's worth. But then you have to haul it back, or you have to transmit it back. And if you transmit it back, then you lose a certain amount of the science in the transmission. So it's, you can get there. It's going to take, it's a little grindy and it takes a while, but that's the fun with KSP. So we got 300 and almost 400 points to spend. What are we going to spend points on, guys? So we're going to get, I think, and this is something that's kind of neat that they added. They added fireworks into the mix. That's kind of different. We definitely are going to want our general construction, because it is going to give us our launch stability enhancers, which is going to give us the ability for larger rockets because of towers and things like that. So we're definitely going to want that. This is flight control. That is going to give us the mech jeb and what have you. We're definitely going to want that. Let's see. This stuff I'm not familiar with. This was not. I mean, this stuff over here, yes. These two items I am not familiar with. They were not in the game when I stopped playing. This is RCS. We definitely want RCS. MechJeb features. Okay, that goes along with MechJeb. But we definitely need our RCS. So that's gonna be something we're gonna want. I don't know if that's gonna give us later on. Give us our RCS tanks. Maybe, I don't know. What is this? This is larger heat shields, landings, better parachutes, landing gear. That's for some of our bigger rockets. We're not there yet. This is all wings and stuff. I don't fly in this game very well, so I don't really build airplanes in it. There's some people, man, they fly the shit out of airplanes. I can't. Cones, protection, detachment monofoils, flag, who cares? Radial decouplers, definitely. Engine plates. We're starting to get into some of the robotic stuff there. I will give you guys, I have to look and see what all mods I'm running on this. I'm running a few mods. Drain valve, Rockomax tanks, that's the big tanks. Monopropellant tanks, external tanks, Oscars, some more engines. I say. I think we're going to take that one. This is going to start to get us into the space. We can kind of go from there. This was RCS, right? So that was our RCS. That starts to get us into RCS. So that's our command module, which has a crew capacity of 3. Reaction wheel. I thought there was an RCS tank somewhere. Maybe it's not. Because I use the RCS tanks and build tugs out of them. That's heavy rocket. Propulsion systems is going to give us engines, Oscar fuel tank. That's big fuel tanks. We don't need those yet. We're going to stay local to Kerbin for a little bit here. This is starting to get into some bigger stuff, and our robotics. Let's look and see. I know at some point. Yeah, there's the RCS tanks. That's where I was looking for. That's going to cost us though. That's a little ways down. So 90, 90s, 180, and 160. Yeah, that's 300-400 points of science away. This is what I was talking about. These RCS tanks, I use them to make little space tugs with that I can control and move stuff around. And then we're looking at the docking and stuff like that. I don't think we're ready for docking yet. I think we're still working on trying to just get into space. But we're going to work in that direction, though. Because I don't think we can do any docking with any of the stuff that we have. Oh, no, we do have a docking port junior. So we got a junior. We could grab the junior and we could start doing some docking and some little stuff. I think we're going to grab the junior. That leaves us 82. So we are, at this point, we've spent everything we can spend. that's going to get us into being able to do some little maneuvering together and linking some stuff up. We'll get to experiment with some of this other stuff. Yeah, I think that'll work. So there is our expenditures. We still have 82 science that we can spend. There is still science that we can pick up here on Kerbin. Maybe we'll make a little plane and go around, or I will make a better rover now that we've got the stuff for it. And we can hit up the mountain biome and some of the other biomes that are just outside of the launch sites and pick up some stuff that way. But there you go, guys. That's going to do it for this episode. Like I say, but by the second episode, we've got well over 500-600 points for science done, and it just takes a little bit of farming, but you can certainly do it. And it's fun. I like it. You're gonna blow up. Don't be surprised when you blow up. You're gonna blow up. So anyway, guys, you take care. I will see you in the next episode. Between then and now, I'm going to think about what we're going to do, where we're going to head. And I think we're going to start trying to get up into orbit, which is going to be really interesting, and we're really going to blow some shit up. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.